once again for the renegade master. Back 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 once again for the renegade master.
Hello my renegades and welcome back. And what are we getting back into? You all know what we're getting into right now. We're getting into Married at First Sight Australia series 11 and we are now on episode 7. So before we get into it, before we start talking about all the rubbish that probably went on in this episode, as I always say, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Please don't forget to hit that notification button so when you know I'm on and doing videos. I'm looking to build my platform because this, I'll have to say a little bit by myself, this is like a little hobby for me. And if it wasn't for someone who was quite close to, who is, I should say, quite close to me, saying I should go and do this channel, I probably would not have done it. Because me, for one, I'm a person that likes to talk at the TV once things are going on and shout bullshit and all this, that and the other at the TV. So they said, you know what? You're probably good at doing something like this on YouTube, and that's what made me start it. And now I see it as my little hobby. Like, I really enjoy talking about these things, but I need you lot, to interact with me a little bit more if you are liking what you're seeing and like what you're hearing. Okay, all right then, let's get into this episode. So now we know they're all moved in together. Lucinda's in absolute 7th heaven at the end of the day because there are 2 bathrooms, and that's the one thing that she put down in terms of her icks, that she'd like a separate bathroom to the man. Eden and Jaden haven't lived with anybody before, so they're going to see how that goes with each other. You got Lauren and Jonathan still talking about the situation with Jack and his story because they don't believe it in the slightest. Same here. I think it was the biggest crock of shit, as I've already said, that he'd ever spoke about in his life. I think he's absolutely lying. I think Tori has those rose-coloured glasses on and she's not questioning anything, as in anything this man is saying. And I find both of them, Tori and Jack, to be quite weird and quite bizarre with the situation. So they're all sitting back and saying, like, you know, Jack is thinking that it's all been dealt with. And Tori's saying it's been dealt with, that's it, we don't need to deal with it no more. But it is going to keep rearing its ugly head, seriously. Once, as the story keeps gaining traction, it's going to keep rearing its ugly head, because guaranteed, I bet you anything, something else will come out about this man. Ain't no lie, something else will come out about this man, and then Tori is not going to be able to keep her mouth shut at that point in time. She ain't going to be able to keep holding on to his back and hoping things will work out, because Tori is absolutely as delusional as Jack, because for some reason Tori's got it in her head that they're some kind of power couple. I really don't know where she got that impression from. She believes her and Jack are some kind of power couple, and that's the reason why she doesn't want anybody to upset that. She's absolutely delusional. Jack's absolutely delusional because he's got her to think in his way of thinking. I don't know how he's managed to do that, but he's managed to do it. Anyway, so we know it's Confessions Week, and as we already know from watching any of the Married at First Sight, whether it be UK, whether it be Australia, or anywhere else in the world, Confessions Week does not go well. It never ever goes well at all. So basically, Eden and Jaden was asked to write a letter revealing a deep truth from their past. So Eden's basically saying that, you know, they're pretty open. There's nothing that he could write in, she hopes, that will make her change her opinion of them both. And Jaden is basically saying that, you know, Eden's quite open. They've talked about their past, but there's one certain secret that he has not talked about with her. He believes that she will take it well, but he's quite unsure because it's a big one. And I was like, so what in the fuck are we going to hear now? Like, seriously, what are we going to hear now? So he said he was going to read it, and he read it so, like, blasé, like it was nothing. So basically what he read was his girlfriend had been cheating on him through their relationship. Quite a lot of times it would appear so, because a lot of men and other people were coming to him basically saying that, you know, she's met up with me for dinner, she's done this, she's done X, Y, and Z. So he decides after so many times that he's going to take his ex back. But within that was a stipulation. So he's basically told his ex that what he's going to do is sleep with one of her best friends and she would have to watch. So there was a best friend that actually agreed to it. And you know why that best friend agreed to it? That best friend agreed to it because she was probably hankering after Jaden anyway. So she was going to do that. And essentially did that. And his girlfriend watched. I understand it was all consenting and this, that and the other. But that's weird as fuck. Who does that? Who does? And then as soon as Eden turned to him and said, does he regret it? No, I don't regret it. I was like, okay, slow your roll, Mr. Jaden. Because I'm kind of like, how do you get from one extreme, like your woman cheated on you, you kept taking her back, you know, that fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me saying came true with Jaden, because she managed to fool you a few times and you kept taking this girl back. So in essence, as a man does it as well, they believe that they can keep doing it because you're going to keep forgiving them all the time. So then he decided, he went to another motherfucking extreme. I was saying, I'll get back with you, but I've got to sleep with one of your friends and you've got to watch. That's not even in the same realm. I don't know how he went from one to... Why didn't he just leave the girl? Why did he not just leave it? Because from when you put that stipulation in and the girl agreed to it, why did you at that point say, you know what, nah, I ain't lowering myself to those standards. Me and you ain't together no more. He absolutely didn't, and then expected Eden to accept that, because what happened is that triggered Eden completely. Like the whole scenario triggered Eden, and she needed some time and some space. So then she went to Sarah, I think it is. She went to Sarah to go and have that chat with her, and told Sarah in a roundabout way what he'd said in his confession letter. Sarah was like, and he told you that? I said, yes, my girl. Yes, my girl. He told her that. Like he could have lived his life without nobody knowing that shit. But no, Jaden decided that he was going to do that, especially knowing the background of Eden. He just decided that he was going to put that out there. And I was just like, well, I have no words. Like, I seriously have no words. I understand that he was upset and pissed. And I understand that it was all adults. So they all consented to what it is they wanted to consent with. But that's fucking fucked up. No, seriously, that is... If you really think about it, imagine your ex cheated on you. Because I know if my ex cheated on me, or I was with the person that cheated on me, it'd be like straight up done, discarded. Ain't no past gold, no collecting £200, $200, whatever you want to call it. But to go that extra mile to say, okay, then I'll take it back. But you know what? This is what's going to happen next. I'm sleeping with one of your best friends and you're going to sit there and watch. How? How does that even compute in your brain that that's okay to do? Because then that makes you as bad as your freaking ex at the end of the day. It really does. Yeah, that was a very poor decision making on Jaden's part. I'm going to say that. Very poor decision on Jaden's part. So then you kind of see someone checking in, and it's a late check-in and it's unexpected. And I'm kind of like, hold on, who's this? Because I knew from straight back, from looking at the hair, I was thinking, is that Natalie? And then I showed Natalie coming in. So Natalie's decided to re-enter the experiment again. And I'm thinking, well, I couldn't have found someone else for her at all. So then when she knocks on this door, it's Collins. And Collins is happy to be back. And I was like, well, what was the point? What was the point in leaving? Because she's trying to say, basically, that she doesn't want him to keep putting on this facade. She wants to be able to... She decided, after thinking about it and reflecting on it, she wanted to come back and actually give it a proper try to see if there is something there to be worked on. I'm like... Do you know what? After I've been through the shit that I just went through with that dinner, and the shit that this man was saying to me, and the fucked up shit that he did after we got married, yeah, nah, it's self-preservation, man. Self-preservation. Some of these girls don't. I couldn't go reflect and say, yeah, actually, I want to go back in to see if we can get this romantic piece of us moving, because there was nothing to start with in the first place. Collins is gonna be Collins. He's not going to learn. Yes, he's not had relationships before, but he needs to go have some to know how to maneuver within a relationship, because at the end of the day, this is the marriage. sometimes I think some people are just a glutton for punishment, like seriously, an absolute glutton for punishment. So yes, Natalie's decided to come back. Collins is back now. They're both in different apartments, so they're not staying together in that sense, because they literally want to work on, actually try and work on this relationship. Me myself, I think Natalie has and did come into it for the right reasons, but I don't think Collins has. So with the next two couples, with Lauren and Jonathan, and then you have Tori and Jack, basically theirs was to reveal the latest correspondence on the device that they both use, which is their phone. So basically they had to swap phones. That doesn't always go right, because sometimes some people will sit there and, as Tori did, as she said, that she made sure she tidied up her phone in regards to text messages, pictures, this, that and the other before coming into this thing. So it's like, okay, she may have had something to hide, but we don't know that because it ain't there no more. So with Lauren and Jonathan, they did it easily. There was nothing really untoward on their phones, and they both found it weird, which is what I would do, because it's in essence my privacy. I don't know if that builds in trust in terms of giving somebody your phone to look through. I find it highly weird and suspect if someone wants to look through my phone at the end of the day, because I'll be like, right, if you've got an issue, then just tell me what your issue is and then we'll discuss it from there. But I'm not allowing you to delve into my private world. Yes, I understand that there's reasons why people will ask for a person's phone, but my thing is if a person is doing something untoward, it will come to the light at any point, to be honest. So then it's Tori and Jack's turn. Jack didn't like that at all. He did not like that at all, because he did not know what the hell was in his phone. And again, this man gives me red flag city. Jack, you can see, is looking hella nervous once Tori's going through his phone, and he's trying to look in the backlit mirror in terms of what she's looking at. So then he sees one reflection and he's like, oh shit. And then she sees it. She's like, oh my God, oh my God. And I'm thinking, okay, the way she's carrying on, it must either be a dick pic, yeah, or it's a picture of some naked woman, or actually the picture of the woman that he was with and they were all together and cozy and da-da-da-da-da. Actually, it set her off completely, because it was a picture of him, and it what would have been an ex, him down on bended knee, and him actually asking this person to marry him. So it was an engagement picture. Now, for me, that would clue me into the fact that this girl that he's left high and dry, who did this article, is definitely telling the truth. Absolutely telling the truth, because at the end of the day, depending on when that photo was taken and who it was with, if it was with the girl who did the article, he can't then use that story that this girl was crazy and he tried to end it with her and get away with her. Well, actually no, because there's evidence now in your phone that you got down on bended knee and was asking this woman to marry you. Again, bullshit city. And do you think Tori listens to text that in? No, she fucking doesn't. The only thing she said to him is, you should have taken that off. If it does, she says it's quite weird and it's quite creepy and it does cause her concern. I thought, is that the only thing that causes you concern? That's the only thing that causes you concern, the fact that he's left a photo on there of him asking someone to marry. That's the only thing that causes you concern, my love. She needs help. Like, Tori honestly needs help. So then it moves to Richard and Andrea, and they have the same task in terms of swapping the phones. You don't see Andrea swap the phone with Richard, but you see Richard go through his phone with her. And basically, I think he was texting, I don't know if it was an ex-partner or the mother of his children, or so basically what happened is they'd had a phone conversation, the ex, and he turned around and he'd called her he called her sweetie when he said bye. So she basically texted him back and said to him, did you just call me sweetie? And he said, yeah, why? And the ex, good on her, lambasted him for calling her sweetie, because at the end of the day, that's disrespect to the current woman that he's with. And I was like, okay then. I said, you see that there? You see that there, where an ex can be honest with the person that they're with? Don't call me sweetie, don't call me things like this, because at the end of the day, if the person that you're with saw this, they may think something else completely different. So don't do that. That's a sign of disrespect, and pulled him up royally. And Andrea loved it completely. And then we go to Lucinda and Tim. Lucinda is a very, very, very touchy-feely person. Like, she is a very tactile person. And Tim is kind of like myself, where he doesn't like people up on him all the time and likes his own space. This man is sitting on the couch trying to eat his snacks and watch TV, and all he's got is all the time Lucinda's stroking his chest and and he's like, he's sitting there taking it, but you could tell on his face that it's like, can I get a moment's peace? And then it shows you different clips of where he's going into rooms sorting stuff out, and again Lucinda's on his ass like a fucking fly to shit, won't leave him alone, keeps talking to him, keeps touching him, even when he goes into the bathroom, not to do anything, but you know, she's like, oh, this is good, and still can't stop touching him. I said the only way he is going to get some peace, if he wants to be on his own at some point, is either going into his bathroom and locking the motherfucking door and turning on the shower or turning on a tap to make it seem like he's doing something in there so he can sit down and get a few minutes peace from her, or literally saying that, you know what, I just want to go on a walk, we don't have to go together, I just need a little bit of space, being honest with her in that sense, because she don't let up, like, she seriously don't let up. And it's not her being malicious with it in any way, shape or form. I think that's just how Lucinda is with the person that's in her life. But Tim hasn't had that for a long time, has got habits that he will find hard to break, whereas Lucinda as well is finding those habits hard to break. But Lucinda is not actually reading the temperament of her partner at this point in time. So we'll see how things go. We'll see how things go with them too, because Lucinda wants to have sex with this man, and she's showing that she really does. In her tactileness, she's showing that she really wants to go to that next level of intimacy with him. So then she starts talking to him in terms of what he likes in regards to sex, and then also the aftercare in terms of sex. And he was like, what, aftercare? What do you mean? And she's like, you know, as in either rubbing down or giving hugs, giving kisses after sex. And he goes, I didn't even know that was a thing. He says, I'm kind of the type that just rolls over and goes to sleep. And Tim just didn't want to have that conversation anymore at all. He's like, can we shelve that conversation in that sense? And I'm like, whoa. I think Lucinda's gonna open up Tim to a whole new level of intimacy if he's willing to be opened and listen to her and go on that journey with her. She'll be good for Tim. Like, seriously, I think Lucinda be really, really good for Tim, but he needs to give her that chance to show him exactly how life can be with someone like her. To the test of attraction. And basically with this, they give you the pictures of all the couples. You know, the women get the men's pictures, the men get the women's pictures, and basically it's a case of judging who you are attracted to or find attractive in any way, shape or form, and you put their pictures on the wall. Now, we know over previous seasons this has not gone well. This has not gone well because everybody wants their partner to put them first. That's how it is. Everybody would want their partner to put them first. You see, it starts off with Lucinda and Tim is basically saying he's not doing that task. He don't want to do that task because at the end of the day, to him, it will seem a little bit skeevy because he's in his 50s and they're asking him to look at people that are in their like early, mid-20s to 30s and rank them in order in terms of attractiveness. He thinks that's a little bit skeevy because at the end of the day, they're old enough to be his kids. And he doesn't want to look at them like that. He really, really doesn't. And I understand where Tim is coming from with that, where Lucinda was trying to cajole him into doing it, but he was like adamant that he was not going to do it. So what they ended up doing is they had the pile of photographs. He took out the pile of photographs, had Lucinda's photo on top, and then just said, put that down there, and said, there, you're my wife, you're the only person I'm going to be looking at, I ain't looking at nobody else. And I thought, more power to him at the end of the day, like, seriously, more power to him. And Lucinda did the same because there was nothing else in terms of that conversation. Tim was dead set that he was not going to do it, and I understood where he was coming from. So then it goes to Andrea and Richard. There was no level of reflection in regards to them two at all. Like, Richard was in it. He was in it and he was on it at the end of the day. So Richard did turn around and said straight away that he'll be judging them on their looks because he doesn't really know them, and he said he loves dark-skinned women. So who was the first person that he put up there? Was Cassandra, because she's a beautiful dark-skinned queen at the end of the day. So when he said that, though, I did kind of think of what Andrea will be thinking of, because at the end of the day, Andrea's not a dark-skinned beauty and he's very much into dark-skinned women. I was like, okay, me to go on. And as he was going along, you could see that it was starting to make Andrea feel some type of way in the things that he was saying about these girls, in terms of that they were stunning, in terms of that they were pretty, they had hot bodies, and what attracts him to certain people within the group. Like he said about Tori, the power that radiates from her, he finds it attractive. I'm like, yeah, at 62, this man is delving in deep. I'm not going to be ageist, because there's different strokes for different folks in terms of picking the partners that they want to be with. But everything that Richard was doing and everything that Richard was saying was not lending itself to the fact that he had a beauty in Andrea. So when it came to him putting Andrea's picture up, Andrea said if she's not in the top, then it will be cause for concern, because she would not know exactly what it is about her that would be attractive to him. So he put her joint third, which is in the top at the end of the day. But that was not good enough for Andrea, because Andrea then lets her insecurities out in terms of seeing all those beauties and saying she does not add up to them, because she's not as young as them, she's not as pretty as them, she doesn't look as good as them, she's a lot older, she's going to have all these flaws, these insecurities, And I'm thinking to myself, at the end of the day, Andrea's a beautiful woman. Like, seriously, she's a beautiful woman, and she could give any of these girls up there a run for their rotted money at the end of the day, because she's a really beautiful woman. And I think Richard does see that as well, but I think Richard didn't necessarily read the room in regards to Andrea and how she was feeling about him doing this task. And I thought at this point, she's literally got to have that chat with Richard to let him know exactly where she was on that, because Richard's going off like she's okay, she's all right, it's just a task, do you know what I mean? But no, she read deeper into it, especially when he placed a third amongst all, as she says, the beauties. So that is where the episode ended. I'll be back in quick succession with the next one. As I always say, please hit that subscribe button, please hit that notification button, so when you know I'm on and doing videos. And I'll speak to you all again soon. Peace out.